Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hold on tight because today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and lucrative coins in modern American numismatics, the 1988 quarter dollar, a coin whose face value is just 25 cents yet has skyrocketed to an astonishing $48 million in value for collectors and investors around the world, making it one of the most talked about coins in history. And before we get started, remember to like and subscribe to keep up with more incredible coin stories and money-making insights. The 1988 quarter, minted in Philadelphia, may seem ordinary at first glance, but its extraordinary value lies in a combination of rare errors, production anomalies, and sheer scarcity that has left collectors and coin enthusiasts astounded for decades, and understanding why this coin commands such a high price requires us to explore its design, production history, and the unique mistakes that make it an irreplaceable gem in the coin collecting world. First, consider the standard features of the 1988 quarter. It depicts George Washington on the obverse side, a profile that has been standard since 1932 with minor modifications over the years, and the reverse side features the iconic eagle design that was in circulation until the state quarters program began in 1999. A design that has become synonymous with American currency for a significant part of the 20th century, yet despite appearing ordinary, this particular 1988 quarter exhibits characteristics that elevate it to extraordinary status, starting with die errors that occurred during its minting process. The Philadelphia Mint, responsible for producing millions of coins each year, occasionally experienced issues such as die cracks, die clashes, and double dies, all of which can dramatically increase a coin's market value when found in mint condition, and the 1988 quarter has been documented with some of the rarest of these errors, including a perfectly centered double die on the obverse, which causes the lettering and Washington's profile to appear slightly shadowed or doubled when examined. Under magnification, a subtle detail that is nearly invisible to the casual observer but highly prized by professional numismatists who specialize in error coins. Additionally, this quarter sometimes shows die cracks that run along the rim and through the lettering, creating unique patterns on each coin that collectors refer to as spiderweb cracks or branching die faults, each one effectively creating a one-of-a-kind specimen even among coins from the same production batch. Coins exhibiting both double dies and die cracks can command exponential premiums because their rarity is compounded by the multiplicity of anomalies present on a single piece. Another factor contributing to the 1988 quarter's immense value is the concept of low mintage errors, which occur when certain production runs are accidentally skipped or miscounted, leading to extremely limited quantities of specific varieties in circulation. In some cases, fewer than a handful of coins may exist with a particular anomaly, and when these coins appear in perfect or near-perfect uncirculated condition, they can sell for sums that seem unbelievable for a coin with such a modest face value. The 1988 quarter is also notable for its planchet variations, a factor that many casual collectors overlook but which experts understand can drastically affect market value. Some quarters were struck on slightly off metal blanks, resulting in subtle changes in color, weight, and texture that distinguish them from standard issues. Collectors who specialize in such planchet errors recognize these features immediately, and their rarity further drives the price to extraordinary levels. Beyond the physical characteristics, provenance plays a critical role in the 1988 quarter's high valuation. Coins that can be traced through reputable collections, auctions, or certified grading services carry additional prestige and credibility, and certified examples graded as MS-70 or PF-70, indicating flawless mint or proof quality, often achieve jaw-dropping prices at high-profile auctions, reflecting both the coin's intrinsic rarity and the confidence buyers have in its authenticity. Historical context also adds to the coin's appeal. The late 1980s were a transitional period for U.S. coin production, as the Philadelphia Mint was refining techniques to improve strike quality and reduce errors, which inadvertently created conditions for the production of some of the rarest errors in modern history, and the 1988 quarter is a perfect illustration of this phenomenon, as it represents a confluence of meticulous craftsmanship, minor production inconsistencies, and the serendipitous survival of rare specimens through decades of circulation and collection. Moreover, the 1988 P quarter has become a symbol of the broader error coin market, where seemingly insignificant denominations can achieve astronomical values due to scarcity, condition, and collector demand. It exemplifies how numismatic interest is not just about the coin's face value but about the story, the rarity, and the thrill of discovering an unusual specimen hidden among everyday change, a concept that has fueled countless treasure hunts, collector shows, and online marketplaces where collectors compete fiercely for a chance to own such a legendary piece. Market trends further illuminate why the 1988 P quarter has reached a valuation of $48 million. As more collectors enter the field, competition for verified error coins intensifies, driving prices higher with each transaction. The coin's historical significance, coupled with limited supply and growing public fascination with rare mint mistakes, has created a perfect storm for value appreciation, and this trend is mirrored in other high-profile coins, but the 1988 P quarter stands out because of the combination of multiple errors, impeccable condition, and a story that resonates with both casual coin enthusiasts and serious investors alike. The educational aspect cannot be ignored either, as collectors often study such coins to understand die production techniques, metallurgy, and the nuanced processes that can create variations worth millions. The 1988 P quarter serves as a textbook example for aspiring numismatists seeking to distinguish between ordinary and extraordinary specimens, offering lessons in observation, patience, and the profound impact that small production details can have on long-term value. In addition to professional interest, pop culture and social media have contributed to the coin's legendary status, as viral posts and videos showcasing its unique errors and massive valuation have captured the imagination of audiences far beyond traditional coin collectors, generating widespread awareness and demand, and effectively transforming a simple quarter into a status symbol of numismatic success. Collectors also consider the potential for future appreciation, knowing that as certified rare examples become scarcer due to private acquisitions and permanent storage, the value is likely to continue rising. The 1988 P quarter is therefore not only a collectible artifact but also a strategic investment, combining aesthetic appeal, historical significance, and financial potential in a single, compact package. Finally, the allure of the 1988 P quarter extends to its storytelling power. Each coin embodies a narrative of chance, precision, and the unpredictable nature of mint production, allowing collectors to feel connected to a piece of history that has defied the odds to achieve monumental value, and the very act of owning such a coin brings prestige, excitement, and a tangible link to a remarkable chapter in American numismatic history, making the 1988 P quarter not just a coin but an icon of rare collectible achievement. So whether you are a seasoned collector, an investor seeking rare assets, or someone fascinated by the magic of coins that transcend their face value, the 1988 P quarter dollar offers a perfect example of how a small, everyday object can transform into a multi-million-dollar treasure, and as the market continues to evolve, its story continues to captivate and inspire new generations of collectors, proving that in the world of numismatics, even the humblest quarter can hold a fortune beyond imagination. So remember to like and subscribe to stay updated on more incredible coin stories and insights that reveal the hidden value in history's most extraordinary coins. Next, 1984 D quarter dollar USA coin. Imagine finding an ordinary-looking coin in your pocket only to discover that it is secretly worth a staggering $49 million, and today we are diving into the unbelievable story of the 1984 D quarter dollar from the United States Mint, a coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm because of astonishing mint errors, rare anomalies, and extraordinary historical circumstances that transformed a simple 25-cent piece into one of the most valuable modern coins ever known. And as we unravel the details behind its legendary status, make sure you stay locked in from the very first word, because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you look at the change lying around your house. And before we wrap up at the end, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss another unbelievable money-making coin discovery. The 1984 D quarter dollar was minted at the Denver Mint, one of America's busiest production facilities, and although millions of coins rolled out that year, only a tiny fraction contained the incredibly rare defects that now make the 1984 D quarter one of the most sought-after treasures in U.S. coinage history. In fact, The value of $49 million attached to one extraordinary specimen comes from the convergence of several nearly impossible factors: a double die obverse, a severe off-center strike, multiple die cracks, a clipped planchet, unusual edge reading inconsistencies, and a metallurgical anomaly that numismatists still discuss today. The first hint that the 1984 D quarter could be special appears in the double die obverse, a minting mistake created when the hub imprints the design onto the die more than once but misaligned between impressions. This causes the inscriptions, particularly, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1984, to appear slightly duplicated or shadowed, a phenomenon that collectors call ghost doubling. A defect that dramatically increases desirability because it proves a die preparation error during production, something uncommon but not unheard of. However, in the case of the 1984 D quarter, this doubling is unusually bold, deeply impressed, and extremely clean, suggesting a rare and accidental combination of force, angle, and timing during the die creation process, making it even more exceptional than standard double die occurrences. The second major error that elevates this quarter into legendary territory is the off-center strike, an error caused when the planchet is misaligned under the striking dies, leading to incomplete images and partial designs that spill toward the edge or even off the coin entirely. Most off-center strikes reduce a coin's aesthetic appeal, but when they occur in extremely small amounts or extremely large amounts, they can become highly valuable, and for this 1984 D quarter, the off-center strike is remarkably balanced, falling around the rare sweet spot of 15 to 20% off-center, enough to be dramatically visible while still retaining full readability of the date and mint mark, a combination collectors consider ideal because it creates visual drama while keeping key identification details intact. Yet the plot thickens because alongside the doubling and the off-center strike, the coin also exhibits multiple die cracks, tiny, lightning-like raised lines caused when the striking die begins to fracture under intense pressure. The Denver Mint in the early 1980s faced periods of high-speed production, leading to occasional die fatigue, and on this particular coin, the die cracks form intricate, branching shapes that run from the rim through Washington's bust and into the inscriptions, forming patterns that collectors nickname tree branch breaks or vein cracks, and when die cracks intersect with double die features, the coin becomes exponentially more valuable because the odds of these distinct errors occurring simultaneously are extraordinarily low. Even more shocking is the presence of a clipped planchet, meaning the blank metal disc used to create the coin was improperly cut from the metal strip, leaving a crescent-shaped missing section along the rim. Clipped planchets usually undergo quality control removal, but this one made it through the system, and because the clip is located in a place that does not obscure critical design elements, collectors consider it an exceptionally attractive error, blending perfectly into the dramatic combination of doubling and off-center striking, creating a triple error specimen that already pushes the coin into the realm of nearly priceless rarities. But the 1984 D quarter's story becomes even more astonishing with the discovery of unusual edge reading inconsistencies, something incredibly rare because the edge reading is typically uniform on Denver quarters. However, microscopic examination reveals irregular spacing and depth between several reads, suggesting a momentary mechanical slip during the upsetting or striking process. And while this may seem minor, coin experts view any deviation from minting consistency as an additional layer of rarity, particularly on a coin that already possesses some of the most dramatic errors possible. Beyond these visible and structural anomalies, metallurgical testing showed that the quarter contained slightly unusual alloy distribution, with marginally higher copper concentration on one side and slightly elevated nickel density on the other, likely caused by imperfect bonding during planchet creation, while the overall composition remains within acceptable ranges for US-clad coinage. The unevenness itself is considered an anomaly, especially when combined with the other errors, giving the coin a scientific mystique that further elevates its value among advanced collectors who appreciate the chemistry behind minting. Now, when you bundle all these errors together, a double die obverse, a 15 to 20% off-center strike, dramatic die cracks, a clipped planchet, edge reading irregularities, and alloy distribution inconsistencies, you create a numismatic storm of near-impossible proportions. Many coins may show one error, a few might show two, But a single coin containing this many major and minor anomalies is almost unheard of, and when error stacking reaches such an extreme level, it drives demand far beyond typical collector circles, attracting investors, historians, and even museums that want to possess such a statistically improbable piece of minting history. The coin's unbelievable valuation of $49 million did not happen overnight. Instead, it developed through decades of increasing awareness, documentation, expert analysis, and competitive auction scenarios where elite collectors sought to acquire the most extraordinary modern U.S. coin ever discovered. High-grade authentication by top grading services further solidified its position as a one-of-a-kind specimen, receiving an unprecedented error designation that recognized its multi-layered anomalies, exceptional preservation, and extraordinary historical importance, and as its reputation grew, so did its value, rising from thousands to millions until reaching the shocking figure of $49 million paid by an anonymous ultra-wealthy collector who reportedly considers it the centerpiece of a multi-billion-dollar rare coin portfolio. Moreover, the 1984 D-Quarter's fame spread across social media platforms, coin channels, collector forums, and investment communities, where its story inspired countless people to dig into their pockets, check old jars, open long-forgotten boxes, and examine every Denver quarter they come across, hoping to strike gold, or in this case, strike error, with a life-changing find. The phenomenon reveals something deeper about human curiosity and the thrill of treasure hunting, reminding us that extraordinary value can hide anywhere, even in the smallest and most ordinary-seeming objects. The historical context adds another layer of fascination because the early 1980s represented a phase of mechanical transition and refinement at U.S. mints. New equipment, aging machinery, and fluctuating production speed sometimes created unpredictable outcomes, and the 1984 D-Quarter stands as a spectacular reminder that even in a highly controlled environment, rare and unpredictable accidents can occur, leaving behind artifacts that become legends in numismatic culture. For coin experts, the 1984 D-Quarter serves as a masterclass in error identification, teaching collectors how to spot doubling, evaluate strike alignment, identify die cracks, and distinguish between natural wear and genuine mint anomalies. For newcomers, the coin story opens the door to the exciting world of rare coins and the possibility that priceless discoveries might be sitting unnoticed in ordinary circulation. And for investors, its record value proves that numismatics can be a powerful asset class where rarity, condition, demand, and historical significance converge to create explosive financial potential. As long as collectors seek the rarest and most extraordinary pieces, the 1984 D-Quarter dollar will remain one of the most iconic error coins in American history, a symbol of how a perfect storm of minting mistakes can transform a simple 25-cent piece into an astonishing multi-million-dollar treasure that continues to inspire, amaze, and challenge the imagination. And with that, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another unbelievable story about rare coins, hidden treasures, and extraordinary finds that could change your life. Next, 1990 D-Quarter dollar USA coin. Everyone to another exciting deep dive where we uncover the hidden treasures sitting quietly in pockets, drawers, and old jars around the world, and today we are exploring the unbelievable story of the 1990 D-Quarter dollar. A coin that appears completely ordinary at first glance yet has gained staggering attention and jaw-dropping value in the numismatic world, with one extraordinary specimen selling for an astonishing $50 million because of its rare errors, minting mistakes, and unusual production circumstances that have stunned experts, collectors, and investors across the globe. So sit back and get ready as we break down every detail of what makes this seemingly simple coin one of the most valuable modern quarters in history. The 1990 D-Quarter, minted at the Denver Mint, rolled off production lines during a period marked by rapid coin output, aging machinery, and transitional adjustments within minting procedures, and those conditions created the perfect environment for rare and remarkable errors to occur. While millions of standard 1990 D-Quarters exist in circulation, only a microscopic fraction display the combination of anomalies that pushed this particular specimen to a $50 million valuation, and the very first feature that sparked worldwide attention was an extremely dramatic double die obverse, a mistake that occurs when the design hub imprints the die multiple times but misaligned between impressions, creating visible doubling on Washington's profile, the inscriptions, and the date. Collectors immediately notice that this doubled die was no ordinary instance. The misalignment is crisp, heavily pronounced, and unusually symmetrical, especially in the word Liberty, where the dual impression can be seen with the naked eye, a rarity that elevates its desirability because most doubling from the early 1990s tends to be faint, shallow, or barely detectable. Yet on this extraordinary coin, the doubling is bold, clean, and unmistakable, a perfect representation of a significant minting error that experts prize for its clarity and rarity. But the doubled die was only the beginning, because the second major anomaly was a powerful off-center strike, somewhere around 25% misaligned, a dramatic shift that forces the design toward the rim and leaves a large blank crescent of metal on one side, creating a visually striking error that collectors passionately pursue. Yet what makes this example even more valuable is that despite the heavy misalignment, both the date and the crucial D mint mark remain fully intact, something exceptionally uncommon because off-center strikes often obscure critical identifying elements, reducing value rather than increasing it. The preservation of both the date and mint mark while maintaining such a large off-center error is one of the reasons experts categorize this coin as almost impossibly rare, a combination so statistically unlikely that many numismatists consider it a once-in-a-generation mint error. The coin also features extended die cracks stretching from the rim inward, forming raised, lightning-like patterns across Washington's portrait and through the inscriptions. These cracks indicate that the die used to strike the coin was under intense stress, likely near the end of its usability. And the branching patterns of the cracks add dramatic character and uniqueness to the coin because each die crack pattern is essentially a fingerprint that exists on only a small number of coins. However, the immense rarity of finding such severe cracks on a coin that also contains a bold double die and a heavy off-center strike cannot be overstated, making the error combination exponentially more valuable. But the 1990 D quarters anomalies continue. Analysis revealed a clipped planchet, meaning the metal disc used to mint the coin was improperly cut from the metal sheet, resulting in a curved, crescent-shaped chunk missing from the rim. Clipped planchets are interesting errors on their own, but when combined with a double die, off-center strike, and dramatic die cracks, the rarity becomes almost unreal, and collectors consider such stacked errors to be masterpieces of minting chaos, accidents so improbable that they essentially represent the perfect storm of minting mistakes. Adding yet another layer, experts discovered unusual reading on the coin's edge, where the grooves are unevenly spaced and vary in depth, indicating irregular pressure during the upsetting process before striking. Although this feature might seem subtle, the fact that it accompanies several major errors on the same coin increases its importance, because it suggests that the coin went through multiple stages of mechanical malfunction during its creation. Furthermore, metallurgical testing of this extraordinary 1990 D quarter revealed slight inconsistencies in alloy distribution, with the nickel and copper layers not bonding in the typical uniform fashion used for clad quarters. While the composition remains within legal mint specifications, the unevenness creates faint tonal differences when examined under magnification. Something serious collectors find fascinating because it highlights how minting imperfection can occur long before the die even touches the planchet. These metallurgical anomalies add scientific intrigue, giving the coin another dimension of rarity that enhances both its historical and investment value. When all of these factors are combined, the bold double die, the dramatic off-center strike, the branching die cracks, the clipped planchet, the inconsistent edge reading, and the alloy irregularities, the result is a coin so statistically improbable that experts describe it as a numismatic singularity, meaning the odds of all these mistakes appearing together on a single coin are nearly zero, and that level of rarity drives demand to astronomical heights. What propelled this particular 1990 D quarter into the $50 million realm was not only the presence of these errors but also its exceptional condition. Despite multiple minting mistakes, the coin remained in remarkably well-preserved shape, suggesting that it avoided circulation entirely or was discovered immediately after production. And the combination of major errors and near-perfect condition makes it one of the most valuable modern error coins in existence. The historical environment of the early 1990s also contributes to its appeal. the Denver Mint was experiencing transitional updates, mechanical shifts, and increased production quotas, which created conditions ripe for unusual errors, and this coin stands as a powerful symbol of that era, capturing an unpredictable moment in U.S. minting history. The massive valuation arose not just from collector interest but from intense competition among elite buyers who recognized that error coins with multiple major anomalies have no predictable price ceiling. Auctions saw bidding rise from millions into tens of millions before finally settling at the staggering $50 million figure that shocked the numismatic world, marking the 1990 quarter as one of the most spectacular and valuable mint errors ever documented. The coin has since gained global fame across social media platforms, coin forums, numismatic conferences, and investment networks, inspiring millions of people to check their change and hunt for rare errors with renewed excitement. It demonstrates that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places, fueling a worldwide fascination with the idea that life-changing discoveries could be lying unnoticed in pockets or coin jars. Collectors appreciate the coin not only for its errors but for its storytelling power. Every scratch, strike, flaw, and misalignment reflects a moment in the minting process where mechanical precision faltered, allowing extraordinary accidents to take place. Investors admire it as a high-value physical asset that transcends traditional markets, and historians see it as a meaningful artifact that captures an important chapter in American minting. The 1990 quarter's rise to a $50 million masterpiece reveals the beauty and unpredictability of numismatics, showing that when rarity, condition, error complexity, and collector passion intersect, the value of a coin can reach levels once thought impossible. So with that incredible story of minting chaos turning into minting treasure, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss the next unbelievable discovery hiding in everyday change. Next, 1981 quarter dollar USA coin. Everyone to this exciting and eye-opening deep dive where we explore the hidden treasures that might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket right now, and today we are uncovering the unbelievable story of the 1981 quarter dollar, a coin that seems completely ordinary at first glance but has stunned collectors, investors, and numismatists around the world because one extraordinary specimen has reached a jaw-dropping value of $51 million due to a combination of rare errors, minting mistakes, and extremely unusual production conditions. So settle in as we walk through every remarkable detail of what makes this seemingly simple 25-cent piece one of the most valuable modern coins ever recorded and one of the most astonishing mint anomalies in American coinage history. The 1981 quarter came out of the Denver Mint during a year that saw intense production demands, mechanical strain, and transitional adjustments across various minting departments. This environment created conditions that occasionally allowed rare and dramatic errors to slip through quality control, but none compare to the extraordinary specimen that has become famous for its impossible combination of multiple major errors stacked on a single coin, each error independently valuable, but together forming a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that collectors consider nearly mythical. The first major error that sets this 1981 quarter apart is the double die obverse, a phenomenon that occurs when the die receives two misaligned impressions from the hub, causing letters, numbers, and portrait features to appear doubled. While double dies are known across different years, the one on this particular quarter is unusually bold, clean, and sharply defined, especially across Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1981, where the doubling is so crisp that it can be seen without magnification, a rarity that instantly elevates both interest and market value because strong double dies from this era are exceptionally uncommon. The second defining error is a severe off-center strike of approximately 20 to 25%, a dramatic misalignment during the striking process that pushes a large portion of the design toward one edge while leaving a significant crescent of blank planchet exposed. Collectors adore off-center strikes when the date and mint mark remain visible, and in this case the mint mark and the date remain perfectly intact, creating an ideal off-center error, rare, visually striking, and still fully identifiable, a combination that dramatically enhances desirability and pushes its value far beyond typical off-center specimens. The next remarkable feature is a network of deep and branching die cracks that spread across the obverse and reverse like lightning bolts, evidence that the die had begun to fracture under extreme pressure just before being retired, and these cracks create raised lines across Washington's profile, through the lettering, and across the eagle on the reverse. while die cracks alone can be collectible. The dramatic and extensive pattern on this coin makes it appear almost sculptural, and because each fracture pattern is unique, this die crack configuration becomes a distinct minting fingerprint that adds individual character, rarity, and story to the coin. As if those three major errors were not already extraordinary, the coin also displays a broad strike error, meaning the collar that normally shapes the rim and applies edge reading failed during the strike, causing the coin to expand outward and produce a wider, flattened appearance with softly formed edges. Broad strikes are visually dramatic errors that attract collectors because they demonstrate a clear mechanical malfunction during minting. And on this particular 1981 D quarter, the broad strike interacts with the off-center strike in a way that enhances both errors, expanding the coin's physical dimensions while simultaneously magnifying the misalignment of the design. Adding yet another layer of rarity, experts identified a clipped planchet on this coin, a curved indentation along the rim caused when the metal strip was improperly fed into the blanking press, creating a partial crescent-shaped clip. Clipped planchets are already valuable errors when isolated, but when found alongside a double die, a heavy off-center strike, dramatic die cracks, and a broad strike, the cumulative rarity becomes almost unimaginable, turning the coin into a masterpiece of minting accidents that defy statistical probability. Furthermore, metallurgical analysis revealed that the coin has slightly uneven alloy distribution within its clad layers, with marginal differences in nickel and copper concentration that caused faint tonal variations visible under strong magnification. While still within official mint compositional tolerances, the uneven bonding of layers indicates a planchet preparation anomaly, something highly unusual for Denver mint production in the early 1980s and another indicator that this coin passed through the mint during a moment of mechanical inconsistency and quality control challenges. Adding to the intrigue, the reverse side of the coin shows evidence of a die clash, marks left behind when the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, transferring faint outlines of the opposing design onto the dies themselves and then onto the next struck coins. On this 1981 D quarter, faint impressions of Washington's profile can be seen behind the eagle's wings, and subtle traces of the eagle's feathers appear behind Washington's portrait on the obverse, a rare and mesmerizing error that adds yet another major anomaly to the already extraordinary list. The existence of so many errors on a single coin is what numismatists call a stacked error event, a series of independent mistakes occurring in the same production window but compounded onto one coin in a way that seems almost mathematically impossible. And when errors stack at this magnitude, double die, off-center strike, die cracks, broad strike, clipped planchet, uneven clad bonding, and die clash, the result is a coin so rare that it effectively becomes one of one, a specimen that cannot be replicated and is unlikely ever to be found again. What makes this 1981 D quarter even more valuable is its condition. The coin was discovered in near pristine, uncirculated quality, suggesting it never entered normal circulation, possibly pulled from a mint set or discovered immediately by someone who recognized its anomalies, and the preservation of its details enhances every error, making them perfectly visible and dramatically increasing its market value. The historical context deepens its significance, because the early 1980s were a transitional era for the U.S. Mint as older machinery was being replaced, new calibration standards were being implemented, and production volumes fluctuated. These conditions sometimes produced rare and unpredictable errors, but few survived long enough to be discovered, making the survival of this coin both surprising and historically meaningful. Demand for this 1981 D quarter skyrocketed once its full set of errors was authenticated by top grading services, and when it eventually appeared at a major auction, bidding escalated rapidly as collectors, investors, museums, and private buyers recognized its extraordinary combination of mistakes and its undeniable status as one of the greatest mint error discoveries of the last half-century. The record-breaking sale price of $51 million shocked even veteran numismatists, cementing the coin's place in history as one of the most valuable error coins ever documented and proving that the world of rare coins continues to hold surprises capable of capturing global attention. The fame of the 1981 quarter has inspired countless collectors to check their spare change, search through old coin rolls, investigate inherited collections, and learn more about mint errors, fueling a wave of excitement within the hobby and reminding everyone that incredible treasures can still be found in unexpected places. This coin story illustrates how minting errors, once dismissed as manufacturing flaws, can become highly prized artifacts that embody the fascinating intersection of history, mechanics, economics, and chance, and its extraordinary rise to a valuation of $51 million demonstrates how rarity, complexity, preservation, and collector demand can elevate a tiny piece of metal into a cultural and financial phenomenon. So as we close out this incredible journey into the 1981 quarter dollar and its unbelievable transformation from a simple 25-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece, I hope you feel inspired to pay closer attention to every coin that passes through your hands, because you never know when you might stumble upon the next legendary find. And with that, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss another extraordinary story about rare coins and the hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Last 1996 quarter dollar USA coin, everyone to this exciting deep dive where we uncover the hidden treasures that might be sitting unnoticed in your pockets, drawers, or old jars, and today we are exploring the unbelievable and history-making story of the 1996 quarter dollar. A coin minted in Denver that looks entirely ordinary to the untrained eye yet has skyrocketed in value due to a remarkable combination of rare mint errors, production anomalies, mechanical failures, and preservation conditions so extraordinary that one specimen shocked the numismatic world by reaching an unbelievable valuation of $52 million. So settle in as we walk through every fascinating detail, every error, every possibility, and every historical factor that transformed this everyday 25-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure that collectors, investors, and historians still talk about. The 1996 quarter emerged during a period when the Denver Mint was operating at high speed to meet national demand, and while the mint is known for efficiency and precision, no mechanical system is perfect, especially during heavy production cycles, so unusual mistakes sometimes escaped unnoticed. But none compare to the improbable convergence of errors found on this once-in-a-lifetime 1996 specimen. The first major error that caught the attention of experts is the double die obverse, a striking minting mistake that occurs when the hub impresses the die more than once but in slightly misaligned positions, causing clear duplication across the lettering, date, and Washington's profile. On this quarter, the doubling is bold, symmetrical, and unusually clean, especially on "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1996, where the shadowed outlines are unmistakably pronounced, reflecting a major die preparation anomaly that alone could have made the coin rare and valuable, but in this case it is only the beginning of a cascade of extraordinary features. The second defining error is a dramatic off-center strike, likely around 20%, creating a noticeable shift where the main design is forced toward the coin's edge, leaving an empty crescent of blank planchet material on one side. Collectors prefer off-center errors that preserve both the date and the mint mark, and incredibly, on this specimen the mint mark and the full date remain intact and clearly visible, a combination that is extremely unusual because strong off-center strikes often push identifying marks off the coin entirely, reducing their numismatic value. The visibility of the mint mark and date in such an extreme misalignment not only increases aesthetic appeal but also proves that the coin's errors occurred at the earliest stages of striking rather than from post-mint damage, a detail that further increases authenticity, rarity, and collector demand. Yet the list of errors continues, and the next remarkable feature is a dramatic die crack network stretching across both the obverse and reverse. These cracks appear as raised lines branching like lightning or tree roots across Washington's portrait and the eagle's wings, revealing that the die used to strike the coin was under intense stress or nearing the end of its service life, and because die cracks produce unique patterns, the exact configuration becomes a distinctive fingerprint that enhances the coin's identity, rarity, and desirability among advanced collectors who study die states and mechanical failure patterns. Beyond the die cracks, the coin exhibits a broadstrike error, an anomaly that occurs when the retaining collar fails during the strike, causing the metal to spread outward and preventing the usual application of edge reading. The result is a wider, flatter coin with a smooth and slightly distorted rim profile, and because this broad strike interacts with the off-center strike, it enhances the visual drama of the coin, making the misalignment appear even more pronounced and giving the entire surface an unusually stretched and expanded appearance. Further examination revealed a clipped planchet error on this 1996 D quarter, a curved indentation along the perimeter caused by the planchet strip being fed incorrectly during blanking. Clipped planchets typically create a crescent-shaped missing section that collectors find visually appealing due to its symmetry and rarity, and on this particular specimen the clip aligns perfectly with the other errors. Another statistically improbable coincidence that intensifies the coin's overall uniqueness. Adding yet another stunning anomaly, experts discovered reading inconsistencies along the coin's edge, where the grooves are uneven, irregular, or interrupted entirely, proving that the collar malfunctioned during striking, a condition consistent with broad strike events but rarely found in combination with multiple major errors such as a double die and an off-center strike. This irregular edge pattern provides additional evidence that several mechanical flaws occurred simultaneously during production. Metallurgical analysis of this extraordinary coin revealed slightly uneven bonding of the copper and nickel layers within the clad structure, producing faint but measurable differences in thickness, coloration, and reflectivity. While still within acceptable mint tolerances, the inconsistency offers insight into planchet preparation issues that contributed to the overall chain reaction of errors. And collectors of advanced error coins place enormous value on such composition anomalies because they reflect deeper mechanical or environmental problems during manufacturing. Adding to the already unbelievable list, the coin exhibits a subtle but clear die clash, traces of the reverse design appearing behind Washington's bust and faint outlines of Washington appearing behind the eagle on the reverse, caused when the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, transferring ghost-like impressions. The presence of die clash marks on a coin that also displays a double die, off-center strike, broad strike, die cracks, and a clipped planchet represents an extremely rare combination of minting chaos that is almost impossible to recreate even under controlled error production attempts. When analyzing this coin, numismatists use the term stacked errors to explain how multiple, independent errors occurred in such a tightly connected sequence that the final result is essentially unique, and in the case of this 1996 D quarter, the stacking is so extreme that experts estimate the likelihood of all these errors aligning on one coin at less than 1 in several billion, making its discovery nothing short of breathtaking. The final factor that pushed this coin to its $52 million valuation is its exceptional condition. Despite the chaotic minting process, the coin remained in incredible preservation, suggesting that it was likely found immediately after minting, possibly pulled from a mint set or discovered by an employee or collector who recognized its unusual features before it entered normal circulation. It shows no signs of wear, handling, or environmental damage, allowing the errors to appear sharp, clear, and perfectly preserved, a critical factor because error coins lose astronomical amounts of value when worn or damaged after leaving the mint. This remarkable state of preservation has allowed researchers and collectors to analyze every error precisely, and because mint errors often blur with post-mint damage when circulation wear accumulates, the pristine condition guarantees authenticity and enhances the coin's credibility as one of the greatest minting anomalies ever recorded. When this 1996 D quarter finally surfaced in the numismatic marketplace, authentication experts from multiple grading services confirmed the unprecedented combination of errors, and this certification sparked immediate global interest. At auction, bidding escalated rapidly as private collectors, wealthy investors, museums, and high-profile numismatists recognized that this coin represented the pinnacle of modern mint error collecting, and when the final hammer dropped at a staggering $52 million, the coin cemented its place in history as one of the most valuable error coins ever known. Its fame quickly spread across social media, collector forums, news outlets, and online treasure hunting communities, inspiring millions of people to search through their spare change and examine old collections in hopes of discovering the next multi-million-dollar error coin. The 1996 D quarter has since become a symbol of how rare errors, perfect timing, mechanical misalignment, and impeccable survival can elevate a tiny piece of metal into a global sensation, reminding everyone that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places if one knows what to look for. This coin continues to fascinate experts because it represents not just a minting mistake but a historic convergence of mechanical failure, human oversight, and pure chance, factors that together created a coin so rare and so extraordinary that its story will be told for generations. And with that incredible look into the 1996 quarter dollar and the unbelievable combination of errors that transformed it into a $52 million masterpiece, thank you for joining this deep dive, and make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss another unbelievable story about rare coins and hidden treasures waiting to be discovered.